I'm glad you articulated it. It's
It's
easy to
supposed to be
follow.
red or green.
Green, thank you.
And with that said, Mr. Chairman, I'd make a motion that we accept the minutes as presented.
You need a second?
We
I'll second.
discussed that.
Yes.
We have a motion and a second on the floor to accept the minutes from December the 18th, 2025 as presented. Any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. And I'm gonna address Attorney Payne. Should I have declared us in quorum? Since we,
It's not a requirement, and the good thing is, it's apparent from the video that you do have.
okay,
It's typical to say we do have a quorum.
we,
so
well,
we're
we do
moving
have a
forward.
quorum.
It would only be an issue if you did.
Right.
Yeah.
We are missing a member, but we do have a quorum. So, all right. So I don't believe we have any visitors here, so
Check online, just to do any comments. You need.
you got something.
Yes.
So I'm going to move on to, I guess that'd be you, 2026 MAT team appointment.
Yeah, and then if you don't mind, just getting signatures for both.
Yeah.
So have our minutes from, it was a November meeting too, we just signed, but just if you don't mind, pass that around. And as that's going around, so a couple meetings back, we also appointed, y'all did the MAT team members, and there was, we had Democrat members and at the time y'all said, you know, if you could find another, then y'all would go with that. So we did find another Republican, James Dempsey. So I'll pass this around, first names are the same except James. And he is Elaine's spouse, so they can't serve together, and they're also the same party, so they wouldn't be.
So you just need a signature.
Well, if y'all mind voting on it,
Yeah,
and then if it passes, y'all will sign off on it.
see it before we vote on it.
I'd make a motion that we accept the amended MAT team appointment.
Okay,
Second.
a motion and second to accept the amended election MAT team members. Any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
And real quick, we have had two MAT team visits so far. Erica's been at both of them and they went good. And we emailed ahead of the primary election, all the facilities in Surrey. I mean, those are the only ones so far that's got back with us. And those people have received their ballots. So if they need assistance, once they receive their ballots, we will go back out there. But that was just the first initial visits, getting them the request forms, and if they need to get registered, we can do this.
Yeah.
And before we start the next item, we will catch up.
Thank you.
Let's try to purposely send it that way.
Thank you.
So I know what's gonna happen, but I don't. So I think it's in order for you to, I'm gonna turn it over to you and you explain what we, that way me and Terrell will be up to speed. And
I want to start out, I guess, by giving y'all a backstory of
Okay.
absentee by mail. So I did print out, I think there's 5 here. This is the absentee ballot request. So anybody that requests a ballot, that wants an absentee by mail ballot, they're required to fill out a form. They can't just call us or send an email. And they can do that. We have that form on our website. They can come to our office, or they can do it through the portal of the State Board of Elections. So there's different things they can request, and you'll see in red So they have to check which election they want to participate in. If due to continued or expected illness or disability, they can check that box and get for that year. But that's just this election year. If they want ballots again in 2028, they're gonna have to fill out a new request. We're not gonna practice this. And then if a voter's registered with a party, they're automatically gonna get that ballot, but if the register is unaffiliated, they're hard to select which primary they want to participate. Unless the city limits Mount Airy, there is a nonpartisan ballot for them. Most people, of course, countywide is going to need to select which primary. And then, of course, there's just basic information, their name, their date of birth, and their to provide either their license number, or ID number, or their social security. And then home address, where they want their ballot mailed. And then, they can provide their contact information, or if someone is requesting on behalf of a near relative, that person will need to fill out that section. If someone is assisting someone, they'll also need to fill out the assistant section. So for example, our MAC team visits, the MAC team is filling out that assistant, because they're helping them physically, fill this form out. And then you see under section 9, that's for military overseas voters, and then they need to sign in date. I just wanted y'all to have a copy of that to see kind of where it's. We have to have that filled out. It has to be complete. And then we're comparing that with their voter registration as well. If they're not registered, they can't request a ballot. So there's that. And then once we receive that, everything's right, and it's filled out, we then mail them out. So it comes whenever they have it from this. And here's all the stuff that's in it. So this just has a lady in the front with their address. I'll put a sample ballot in here, but of course the real ballots. And then they'll have an instructions. This is the photo ID exception. So voters either have to provide either driver's license or fill out this. And that goes in this clear sleeve. And we, that idea from the topic campaign, we were having several voters actually putting their ID inside of their ballot. And we can't see that until we open it and we approve. So we're like, we think about it about their ID, so we do that. Has their instructions, even on the sticker. And then so they'll put their photo ID or exception form in there. And then on this side, the voter is required to sign or make a mark. And then they're required to get 2 witnesses or a note. So that's either or. The witnesses have to print their name, their address, and sign on both of them, or the notary to do the information. And once again, if the person has an assistant helping them with that, the assistant. And then if the voters met on that ballot, this is the return envelope that just covers them. There's a ballot packet. If I have any questions or comments on that, I just want to kind of, I know some of y'all are new to the process. I'm going to show you that. Anything you want to know?
No, well, except the request for the ballot is as of right now, not a public record. The list of who's requested ballots until election. And then it becomes a public record. And so then it's available for anybody that wants to know who all requested ballot.
Okay.
And the only reason I mention that is it surprises me, but it does pop up more than you think. People ask people, well, who all is asked?
Can they request the database of information on the actual forms themselves, since it has
Yeah.
actual DMV record information?
I think that what they were talking about is the database list, and personal identifying property has to be redacted.
Okay.
And if they would have to specifically request for that, and I would argue that they couldn't get that for that election day, and it would be very heavily redacted.
Okay.
Because all confidential information, like social security number, anything like that.
And our office would be responsible for that redaction.
We've had records before. Absentee ballots. For a huge, I mean, so far today we have 22. But big elections, I mean, that's hundreds of thousands. So
Yeah.
we have had some 50 trouble cartridge requests before.
Yeah.
Yes,
Sydney, I don't know if the ballots that we have today to go through and to look at, but just for the start of the absentee season, the exception form or the exceptions for not having the photo ID. What can that voter trigger, or what can they do for that? What's acceptable, what's not?
So the ID exception form, we provide that to each voter, regardless, so they can choose if they need to use it or not. So they have to print their name at the top, and then if their reason is reasonable impediment, that they can't make a photocopy of their ID, they're required to either write their North Carolina driver's license number or the social security number. And then there's other options, you know, I can't get photo ID due to a lack of transportation, disability or illness, there's lots of reasons. And that they'll check what applies to them and then they sign it. And so we have two today that we're gonna look at, and you can see what they filled out. And whenever they put their driver's license or social, I'll also comparing that to the right record to make sure it is the same, so the number is correct.
Typically, if they've got a expired driver's license after so many, so much of a time period after the expiration. What's some of the parameters there? And then also age, if they're at a certain point in age and they don't have a driver's license, that's not held against them, so to speak.
So any voter, they're allowed to use a photo ID for voting purposes as long as it's been expired 1 year or less. But if the voter's over 65, you say, for example, the voter was 90 years old and they're not driving. As long as that photo ID, that driver's license was unexpired on their 65th birthday, they can still use that for voting purposes. But a lot of people that we've ran into that fill out this is because they're probably at home and don't have something like that, or can't take a picture of it and print it out. And so they'll fill this. I think that's the most common reason we've seen, especially for absentee.
And you'll find that there's some of the guidance in the numbered memos say that if there's a challenge to their their saying is unavailable, your job is is to say, is that a valid reason or not? Not, you know, if they say, well, I couldn't get out to the car, you can't say, well, I think I could. So we're gonna change it. Is it a valid reason? And in lack of transportation is a valid reason. If they say I can't get it because I don't like cats. That's not a valid reason to not fill out form. So that's a reason to reject.
Very similar to the curbside voting.
Yes, yeah.
We're not supposed to question that.
Yeah, you don't look behind the reason
Right.
if they're,
But now
if the
they-
reason they're asserting is a valid reason, is good.
The example I give from when I was a chief judge, one time, a person come in the voting enclosure and requested curbside.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you see it all. Don't
yeah,
you?
so
Now, someone, if they had an expired driver's license, you put your social security number in, right? And that solves the issue. If you put your social security number in, that satisfies.
Yeah, well, and if they're just providing their number, we might not necessarily know that that's expired, but say they made a photo.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at that date, that expiration date, and every single one. And, if it's been expired a year or more and they're under 65, then I would contact them and say, hey, you know, if your photo ID wasn't acceptable, here's your next step.
But my question is, if they put in a social security number, does that negate the need for a photo ID or not?
For this, yes.
Yes,
Yes,
okay.
and they can do
So-
either or, they don't have to do both, it's social or driver's.
So you receive the packet back.
Mhm.
And they are 60 and it expired 2 years ago. Do you have to mail them
me find my book. So Erica made y'all all the board member reference book, and then this in the front, that's where. So if you pull up sheet, so, let's see, ID status. ID provided expiration requirements not met. So it says reissue. Voter will have to meet federal ID requirement when submitting new ballot. So maybe they have different form of ID that they could provide, but we would be pulling that ballot and mailing a whole new ballot.
You answered the question.
And so, yeah, she added that today, kind of to reference to us as well. Yes.
It's historically, in the past, with this board, with the borders, the parameters of numbered memos out of the state board of elections office and the guidance as far as general statutes. There are very few times that we will say, quickly, it's been, say, we're not going to pass on this ballot. We're not going to open it up, run this ballot because of lack of photo ID, because of other items that they will check that will allow that to happen. Yes, there have been some, but
There's not many.
many, not with.
And it's written
Well,
such,
looking.
and the exceptions are written such that they should be allowed. That's the case. There've been times when I've looked at it and went, oh, really?
And if you want, we can go right into this unless you want to continue discussion and we got a few examples of the different.
That would be the easiest way for us to see
Your office, whenever you receive an absentee ballot in, you all open the outer container, the outer ballot container. You all, the staff looks at and goes through,
This
you
and
look at
then
everything on that.
either the ID or that accept.
If they put their social security on there, you all check it with the database and you all will make what a staff recommendation. And that's what oftentimes that we rely, where we don't have, if we've got 100 ballots there to go through, we don't have time to go through and say, well, pull up this particular voter. We need to check the social number. The staff will do that. They do that for us. And so we take their recommendation.
So we're not gonna actually look at any ballots. We're just looking at the qualification.
You're looking at the
Right.
So then after you approve it or not based on, okay, yes, they filled out everything correctly and they provided either pro ID or exception form, then you recommend approve it, then we'll open all and of course feed them into the DS turn. So you're not actually physically seeing the ballot.
Yeah.
You're just looking at that envelope and those haven't been opened, they're still sealed up until y'all approve of this.
Yeah,
I take-
runs about.
Right.
Yeah, and I take one further step, you're really not supposed to look at a ballot before it's been counted, because that's, and I will say that this has popped up in another county where somebody says, well, I'm not sure about this envelope, let me look at it. And they opened up the envelope and the other party from that almost made a very, very large deal. So be really careful, not because you're not supposed to know how other people vote.
Sure.
Until there's a time and place for it, and you just say no. And that's one of the reasons why a lot of times you won't see me at some of these absentee ballots, because the process is very tight. And so much of it's done by staff because staff is supposed to.
Right.
And staff, the good thing about all that is staff also has lots of opportunity to cure these things, so they get fixed before they come to this.
So in front of you, you have absentee voters. So for total, we have mailed out 177 ballots. And that's 175. You see CIB, that stands for civilian. And we've mailed or sent out 2 military ballots. And so we have not had, out of that 177, 149 have not been returned. So we have had 23 that have been returned okay. And out of that 23, so we have 21 that are recommended approved. They provided their photo ID, everything looks good. And we have 2 that provided photo ID exception. And I was just gonna get y'all to vote and look at those 7. So that's why I broke those out. So there's the 23 returned okay. And then we have 5 that have been returned not. And with the 5, there have been 3 that we had to split and reissue. And I'll go over in more detail all these categories in a minute. And then 2 that are pending cure. That means, yeah, we're following back up with that voter to correct the issue. So that's the stats. And if y'all are good, I'll go get the ballots and we'll kind of go category by category.
Thank you.
And how do y'all, so we have 21, do you want a full 10 rand, do you want to look out 21, how, that's up to you.
And again, I'll say the numbered memos give you an option of looking at all of them. Or especially as they start getting more and more frequent, to just pull a random sample that you guys think is enough to tell you that, yeah, you think that these are.
Now, these you've already been through.
Yes.
And so-
Yeah.
And these that you're showing us, you've already been through and
He's recommended. So,
recommended approved.
if you wanna take 10,
Okay.
15, 21, however many you wanna do. Just wanna get out to them. And then you can see for yourselves, where the voter sign, the witnesses, and the photo ID, and kind of, get them. So, you wanna-
The ones that fall under okay, my thought is that we do a percentage, but
What we've done in the past is, I think we talked about that the other day at our training thing, is for 20.
okay, if we're going for 20, we might as well,
I started saying with no more of them than there is.
yeah, let's look at them all.
This will be a learning experience for you.
That's what I would do.
Start small.
I'd run them one direction.
Okay, that's-
Yeah.
And this is just the outer envelopes.
Yeah.
That most of them mailed in, so that's just what these are.
That way you're getting to look at them and you're seeing what you're looking for.
If you have any
Sure.
questions,
Yeah.
just don't say the CIV, that's confidential, and so is that voter's name. So just don't say that out loud, if you don't mind, and the rest of you can ask questions on.
The way to approach it is not say anything about anything. That's the way we've always tried to do. We've always even tried not to hold it up. You know,
And when
I've always been mindful that it's on camera. You know, just to
Sure. I'll have to see one. If I have a question, I will stand you and say it. But I don't know that I know enough to have questions.
When I did it, I was sitting here going.
The good news is this becomes boring pretty quickly. So,
Okay.
You'll have two different hands.
Stop, it's the same-
Yeah,
Once you get going.
yeah, boring is good.
Yes, exactly.
You want to make sure it's
There's-
signed, you want to make sure that you got ready.
Yeah. You need to-
Or notary.
See, I need sticker.
Doesn't take long, because, the staff is, that's a good thing, the staff is done all.
All right, so here's a photo ID. There's a signature. These are the witnesses.
That's it.
On D, the only thing we're looking at is voter's name and expiration date, and if it's an acceptable time. And most, you're gonna see the driver's license.
That's it.
And address. And pictures, you can't see that person in front of us, so we're just looking at it is a picture. Right out.
You're gonna stamp and do all that?
You-
Okay.
We open the,
Okay, like this one is less than a year expired. It expired in November of 25. So
It's.
That's a good deal.
If that person's under 65, then it expired in 2024, then it
Okay.
would be, no, it'd be 2 years.
if they're under 65.
Yeah.
Yes.
If
Okay.
they're under 60, it's still, unexpired for 65. But yeah. this one we broke on the page, we have like, Make those.
Did I miss something?
No, this is a young lady that knows as much about what we're doing as anybody.
He saw that too.
Oh, really?
She worked,
See if you did.
I hope she helps on come election. Good. Yeah, how many did you say? 21?
In this year. And the two with the fill ID exception.
Looks like a lot of these voted as couples or something like, I see, two spouses.
Yeah.
Now, is the photo ID, is that a relatively new requirement or has that always been there?
Say the career, maybe 2023 minutes.
84 time, yeah, sorry.
Well, you said 2023, but maybe for y'all, we didn't have it.
Well, I would think this would take away any concerns that one would have about. fraudulent voting.
And even though you're having to provide your driver's license, and then whenever you're turning a ballot, you're having to actually provide or put those same numbers on their score. So yes, for somebody to have that information about me that's not me.
Yeah. Yeah. I really think the process looks pretty secure to
I
me.
didn't know there's E on the end of her name.
Good thing for me is I don't know any of these people.
I've known several.
Have
You
you?
really?
Absolutely knows that.
I'm sure that Dwayne.
Your say right now.
I've only been here 35 years, so I don't know.
I know you went to school in like Hickory. Were you from
No,
Georgia?
no, well, I went to college in Hickory. No, my dad was in the Navy. We lived all up in.
He's
Go Bears.
Go Bears.
Yeah, so my dad went there for a little while.
Did he? What years would he have been there? You
1500s. Yeah, it was
You
it was a long
know,
time ago. He
Late
wrote-
19th century.
yeah, I think he wrote his book, his buggy to the campus, yeah.
wow.
That's his thing. Because it was split up by his time in the Marines, which was Korean.
Oh, yeah.
Is it Korean? Korea? Okay. Now, my wife is from here. She's from Maine.
We ended up here, I guess.
Well, eventually, yeah, we didn't come here right away. I worked for Burlington Industries, which doesn't exist anymore. And we lived in Georgia, Pennsylvania, and Virginia before coming here.
Yeah, between military service and all that, my dad. It's in the Lenore Rhine. Duke State. And Carroll.
That is that's quite a collection of schools.
Who did he really?
That's good.
Yeah, that's a very good. And. State.
And state.
Yeah, I grew up in State.
You watch it in TV.
I went there every home game, David Thompson at the play.
Last night.
Chris, you watching in TV last night.
No.
South Carolina beat Duke.
They got fun last night.
That was an amazing.
It's very easy.
Almost turned it off and went to look at something else. And I said, no, I just leave it on in the background and throw some stuff. And it turned out to be quite a game.
Mhm.
And y'all find this probably watch 10 minutes in the Super Bowl. Did not watch the half.
I watched the
Defense.
TP USA one. I switched over.
And I watched TP USA last night. You can do that on YouTube.
Mhm.
But
The game was disappointing.
You like
They're-
defense.
If you like Seattle's defense, look. Kind of pulling, I didn't really care, but I was kind of pulling for New England just because of Drake.
Yeah.
Carolina guy, you know. But he didn't have time to do anything.
The game, my heart break me, all of it had all that. That really would have been weeks for Carolina if that would have had it too.
No, and the commission.
And of course, the team,
That's something to look.
Some keep.
the only, okay, I'm not a big NFL fan one way or the other. But the two teams I like the least are Dallas Cowboys and New England Patriots. So of course, they drafted during Matt.
Yeah.
So now I gotta go.
Maybe sort of, maybe, okay.
Or support that was from Huntersville, North Carolina.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Or New England.
Mars
Same
Park
guy.
High School, I think, isn't that what he said?
Area, I wonder if-
He didn't give a shout out to Carolina when they were entered, you know, their alma mater. He said Myers Park. Should be paying more attention.
You've seen the recommended approved. I mean, really, you then.
Good to me.
Hey,
I recommend to go along with the staff.
Do we have to have a vote on
do
it?
we need a formal motion?
Again, this is, you probably don't have that formal motion for the record's sake and for the public record. And people watching, I would do it fairly formally and get a,
He started up.
yeah, motion in the
I
session.
make a motion, we accept them as recommended.
No motion is second, you accept them as presented. Any further discussion about these ballots? All in favor of accepting, say aye. Aye. Motion carries.
It makes sense.
All the statute says is that you have to approve them. So it doesn't necessarily require a formal motion, but I think it's It's
Well,
the,
we need
it's,
that
the- it's the
one.
best way to do it.
That's how we govern. Isn't that what they said? They said we operate by, not motion, is it mo, yeah, operate by motions. Being good.
The next two to make up our 23 that are recommended approved, these are ones that provided photo ID exception instead of driver's license. That's something different. So, still recommend approved. And that's just their outright. Yeah, take it out and see the voter provided their either their driver's license or social.
So, all that, opening was bigger.
We'll get to the provisional. That's not real.
Mm.
Or at least seven, or at least good.
Right.
We might have some excitement starting Thursday, I will see.
So we left Friday. Okay, so we were in a meeting. And we left Friday and it was snowing. It's 60 some degrees.
And it was snowing hard and I was driving back.
Yeah.
And we were planning on having chief judges train that night, but since they were all worried, so we ended up and cancel for now. We'll plan on rescheduling. Yeah, this weekend. Yeah.
In Greensboro, that Friday, it snowed for about 2 minutes. That was it.
It's no year. Off and on probably. Yeah.
I really didn't realize that we were watching somebody.
We watched the big screen
Look over.
and yeah, I could see the. It's snowing. Earl that was right over here to me and he said, "Are you sure?"
Yeah, I couldn't tell from
Yeah.
my angle. I had to twist a little bit.
It's pretty.
Yeah, well,
The big snow was just gorgeous. That was nice.
no, it wasn't. I was out in it on Sunday morning and it was blowing sideways. Beautiful sight today.
It is your perspective.
It was running.
You matched up the last four on the social.
Yes, yeah, we checked that with their voter registration. Yes, sir. So, same thing for these.
I would make a motion that we accept those two ballots, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
Got a motion and a second to accept those two. Any further discussion? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
And then the last two categories are full and reissue and pending carries. On reissue, we have 3 in this category, 2 of, and if you want to pass them around, we can. They did not get witnesses, so you can lift up my sticky notes there and see that's what was missing. And the was, she got witnesses, the voter did, but one of the witnesses failed. So unfortunately, we got to still undo the whole process again due to that. So these voters have been called, and so they got a letter and they're getting new ballot. So we also need to give them a heads up.
Were you able to talk to them?
Yeah,
Good thing is I got plenty of time.
exactly. Yeah, they're getting, or they're about to have their new. We don't really have to take any action on those at this point, so those are in these, leave that. And then once we get back those ballots, we will go last two.
Yeah, on that absentee ballots, you really only do one of two things. You accept or you reject, but you only reject after all attempts at cure have been attempted. So you won't start to see, hopefully you won't see any rejections, but you won't see any recommendations for rejections. Probably for a couple of big things. So
Read those back, and then the last is pending here. So both of these voters, I put the reason they signed in the wrong place. Spouses signed each other's contracts. It happens, you know, so in state's guidance, that's what, so they're just getting a letter and they just have to sign the letter. To cure their back, then that cure will go with this and then present to you, so I get that back. And I've called these voters as well, the day that we got these back and did speak with them. They did say their drive was icy, but they would try to get to their mailbox and get that taken care of. So you can see that too, that you can look at the names and yeah, those names just got switched.
Easy.
See how that would be very.
I'd like to make a comment. You know, it's not officially for record or anything, but one, I'm really impressed with the process. Being from the outside. The 2020 election and all of that. I'm impressed with how really tight this is. And also I want to say I appreciate Clark and Dwayne coaching us rookies on this. I really do. I kind of expected my Democrat friends to have horns or something, but yeah. So I appreciate the coaching.
It's not shining through. Like, as I love him.
And that's why we try to, our meetings are open to the public when we live stream so people can see the process. That, you know, there's a lot we're following and start and finish with absentee request form all the way to them returning. There's guidelines and rules we gotta follow. And yeah, we want people to learn and know that, but you see, maybe they have. If you want to watch them. All right, so that's all of the categories. If you're good, so we have our absentee by mail, DS200 sheet. So if you're good, we'll open that up. The seals, we're gonna buy absentee and we record those each meeting. At the end of the meeting, we're gonna seal it back up. We record those seals, and then our next meeting, we will check to make sure that that has been tampered with. Those same seals we close with, those same ones we open. Okay. So for today, sheet, this is, so each machine that we use for election day absentee, or even just our extra, we have to test, they're an LNA test. So it's 5 person teams. And so this list is a list of the seals, the serial numbers, when they did test it, the seal. So today, so this first day, we'll compare these seals to this. And then here on out, we'll have this. Okay, so
Okay,
you.
so who is the designated?
Do we go over there and see this?
Usually say, who goes up to you, it doesn't
If
matter.
it's okay with y'all, I would recommend that she records.
But maybe two of you come and just,
Just as long as there's a Democrat, I don't know.
And I'd ask that y'all go and observe. And I'm gonna ask Mr. Payne if it would be ill advised if I went to the restroom.
to say, no, I think it'd be advised that you do. No.
The good experience.
Hey, drink this call, you need to go.
I guess that means I wait till he comes back. You know, his comment, every time I get somebody that talks to me about should I trust elections? I always say, just come, just watch it. You will be bored to death, but that's a good sign. And you will see just how careful.
Use that.
seeing that. for the first time.
Yeah.
Hearing. That wasn't world view.
And what's distressing is almost nobody bothers to actually look. So, so you want to invest just to go back and say, no, I see it. And yeah.
Something like, what is it, a chain of evidence?
Yeah. And with your indulgence, you're back.
I know where it come from, because Fonda, younger, is in the. It's a real estate, really. You know, but it's finished up. And it's so.
Give you.
Yeah. It was funny. Sunday, the height point. And that is when I didn't make do. Because this was actually the board. It was in a meeting on the community. That's what people. Who's that one? The meeting was the grand thing.
Yeah.
Because, and it's. And I kind of remember that this isn't as bad as I've tried to play other ones. He was kind of making it easy in the second one. One of the things that we was feeding. Okay. So, right. Yeah. So, go to Google. Go to Google. They're gonna give you something. I-20 convention, 2026. You good? You talk. He's good. In a few minutes and like that. You said, Clinton's here. She brought them.
Oh, man. So 23 should be the number next.
Mr. White, here is zero today. You can open it up and it has all the names of every ballot.
Don't have to memorize.
You've been, you know, it's, you, this there. It's- so that is.
But now the picture ID is just since 24, right? Is that what I heard you say, Mark?
Believe so.
Yeah.
It might have been 23 if there were some
Municipal
elections.
elections, okay.
I think.
You sign it, when you sign it, I'm gonna make it easier. We ain't gonna pass it.
You want me to come get?
No, I'm coming. I'm just trying to make it easier. Maybe,
We'll sign under judge.
yeah. Cause you're acting as a judge for that machine. Correct me if I'm wrong, we're acting in.
You're fixing your name, but everything on there is correct.
We're acting quasi as a person.
That makes
Who went on
sense.
election.
Well, I suppose that is true.
Is the board.
Basically, that's what I know you're doing.
Even certain signs again.
It'll come in other shapes. Real nice. Times a year, times of overwhelmed, we see unbelievable it comes out of the tank and from away.
I bet you met a whole precinct in that.
You general election. Yeah.
So Miss Sydney.
This is a lot of effort for people who work. Couple days a week. A lot of effort goes into this.
Yeah, they did a pretty good.
Seal and any reports we have put them out. Just so we have record and. It's all connected together.
All of those.
Jan Davis
Well,
taught me
and
well.
the-
I tried to learn some Jan.
Seal.
Yeah. And they put that up and keep it back there in key on for. Well, they've got a retention schedule for it, how long it's gonna be kept. All that stuff is 26 months. Yeah, I think that's it.
So it's 26 month course of being.
You have to be careful. The state mandates it, how long it has to be there. In the ballot.
Dwayne, it doesn't, it's not required, but I'm not trying to read a ballot. I'm just
You're gonna
watch.
see the process. That's good. You'll have to remark. Hmm. She's telling him about keeping an envelope well and saying that we, occasionally have to remark. And there's a lot of different stuff that we could still have to do here tonight. People will take them and instead of drawing in that circle right there,
The next one or something.
well, there we go. They'll do that. You draw a line across in that machine. What?
So by keeping the envelope, you know which ballot it is.
I suppose.
Figure out. Adjudicate.
Suppose there's a challenge to that. And you gotta take that one out.
Yeah.
You have to be able to identify that particular man and pull it out. That
But at this point, no one can tell who the specific voter was. At
absolutely,
this point, you can just tell which ballot. Those would be John's.
that's it.
To your comment earlier. Whenever I get people who wonder to me about, are they elections really trustworthy?
It will,
I mean, yeah, and
Please.
that's why I say boring is good.
please,
Because if people come and actually spend the time to walk to see how it happens, they come away going, it's a very careful process. How much it's perfect, since it's human, this can't be. But most people that actually want to come
come away impressed. Even skeptics come away impressed if they actually come and watch the whole process.
And I would
Oh,
say,
no.
I would label myself as a
Skeptic.
and you didn't have the exposure to it. And nobody other than people that watch know just how complicated it is and how. And that's why, if you put all those number of memos to the staff, it would be almost as big as the rules and statute, which is already this. And by the way, Nick would be the new Hampton. And we can have, you may or may not see me because unless there's leak, I wanted to be here.
So we don't need to
Because
stand? or we
process
do?
means
It's up to you. It's
But-
not.
legal issues.
So
We
we-
did in the past.
In fact, most of the legal issues come up before or after, actually, not by your count.
You won't, and then we got that approved, maybe you could date stamp an initial and link it approve, or however you work that out.
So that you is the official. So you said.
You should too.
Sam, to feel, you could have to have your there.
Right.
Y'all. Yeah, goes down the machine.
Good.
You start feeling something pressure. That's. We've got a meeting going. Just dead.
So people, ghosting things, you don't want all of that ghost. Especially the teacher.
Keep doing. You seen, you did.
I've been there, I've lived it. I was good, and I,
Big, great, seen it. The things that have changed.
So you're approving and dating them? Is that what you're doing?
I'm approving an initial. And Dwayne is putting.
Putting a date on it, like when they were processed.
Yeah.
A suggestion out there that has been in the housekeeping. If we had, that we had to remove. Is.
Okay. The sign.
Where it's
Underneath stuff.
it's sterile. It's a sterile environment. Actually, we don't have any of that. We lost.
So on the agenda, this completes the three. Bullet points.
So we got that's what's first. So the only thing I'm gonna get y'all to do, I know you've initialed ones. I just have the whole book of absentee voters, so this is everybody that we approved today. If y'all would just sign at the bottom and just will keep this in my board meeting log, just so we have records of all the ones we approved it today. You have to move on.
And I wrote in chair.
Unless you want to.
It is what you got going around the table for the signature. Does that replace what we typically sign this on? We signed.
Yeah, I reached out to a couple other directors and that one had Bob's on it, so yeah, I was just gonna pass that one on you.
That's neater, fresher, it's clearer.
And that way you could have this to take home with you, and if you want to compare it, next meeting, how many we received now, and that, kind of thing, you could have a running tally of the stats too.
I hope not.
So. Okay. So, start with you, Mr. Payne. Have you got any other business bring before this board?
No, I didn't.
Anybody?
I don't. Good seeing everybody. Good, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, I need one more person.
Can I?
Okay.
One thing real quick, I'm sorry. I just want to remind y'all, our next absentee board meeting is a week from today, February 17th, 5 o'clock. And of course, early voting starts Thursday. We've been gearing up for that. So, 4 sites, y'all vote on, of course. It'll start Thursday, February 12th, and go through February 28th. And then just the one Saturday, which is. And I know you got back a letter, but we've been, in case y'all have questions, state board did mail out letters to, several voters that didn't have a driver's license or social security number on their voter registration record. And most of those that we found is people that registered back in the 70s, 80s, 90s before, NVRA, whichever one made that. So the state has just reached out to those voters requesting that they provide that. And if they don't provide it, it's not gonna prevent them from voting or remove them from the rolls and anything like that. They're just gonna keep getting asked that until we get that.
And if I could, yeah, there's one little bit of news that you may be aware of. There's one candidate that is going to be on the ballot, but whose votes will not count because the state determined that she was not an eligible voter, which means she's not an eligible candidate. Because the state determined that she lives in Florida.
What race is that?
Senate.
Name on the,
Wow.
this and so. We're gonna remind our chief judges at training, we have chief judges training that they may get those questions about that candidate, and of course, they just, I don't know. This is your ballot, here's the sample ballot, here's your ballot.
We can't just remove her name and the software. Can't do
The ballot's been printed, mailed out. Been cast at this point, so.
Okay, but I mean, you print them off for when people show up.
But absolutely, everybody has the exact same ballot, so.
Okay.
It's the drop dead date, okay, from here on, this is what the ballot.
Thank you for, pointing that out, but that's all I had, sorry. Keep y'all.
So our next meeting 17/24, do we meet on election day too or no?
Yes, we do
Or
meet.
just 5 o'clock?
And the Monday before.
And the Monday before.
So we're every Tuesday until the Monday before election day. Then we have a meeting that night at 5. And then election day.
And then canvas after that.
And canvas is the
3
one.
days later,
Yes, so that's the,
Friday.
the 6th, March the 6th, yeah, and that meeting, the canvas meeting is gonna be at 11. Excuse me, no, this is 10 days out. The provisional meeting is 3 days.
Friday a weekend.
So canvas is the 15th, so
It's on the 13th. We meet 11 too.
canvas is 11, the 6th is at. Yeah, all right, and I'll email that out, as I'm under too, and text me.
Sheet. Yeah.
Yeah, but.
Yeah, I was looking for it and I couldn't find it, so that's one thing.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, I was comparing. We will meet here on the 24th. We say chickens on the 20th. The
Bring 'em back
23rd.
And our next, so starting tomorrow, tomorrow we're gonna finish setting up, this is an early voting site, and then of course Thursday starts early voting, so our next meetings after that will be on the other side, so B and C. So you can, you're welcome to come to us, we'll take you around, or you can enter through the extension, do that.
We can't cut through here.
No, because there'll be a, we can go down the, that's what we can take you down and around.
Gentlemen, I thank you for your attendance today, and I thank you for, I think we've got a good meeting. And you didn't have a lot of problems. That's a good thing. So, any further business?
Make a motion to adjourn, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
Motion to adjourn cannot be discussed, so we will vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Great meeting.